What's going on? So yeah, this is obviously the journey of our birth, but I thought I'd just point out we were going through the birthing centre, but the birthing centre was closed for renovations and stuff. Look, we didn't know any of this when we booked it. Adeline was born in the birthing centre and it was an amazing experience. But what had happened, because they've closed, they've actually set up a facility next to the main birthing unit in the hospital, which was, obviously what we were going to have to be using. But on the day, obviously, you'll see as this video unfolds, we didn't even get to that part. We just got given a room in the main unit of the hospital because there was some lack of communications on some ends and whatnot. Frustrations built up from our end, but I will stress and say this was our experience. I'm not saying everything's going to be like this. It was our experience. It was all ended up really good, but through some stubbornness, myself and just some general, belief and faith in the human body. Like I say, I've been through a lot of incident myself with hospitals, and I'm, fully aware that although doctors do their job and they do their job well, doctors are more inclined to doctor and pull knives out and do that kind of stuff, whereas midwives, especially birthing centre midwives, are more inclined to let nature do its work and let you do the work you need to do, if that makes sense. So when faced with someone with a knife or someone willing to let us do it ourselves, but like I said, this was our experience. You can watch this and take from it what you will, but I'm not trying to force any ideologies on people. It's just documenting and letting you know how it went for us. And, we're all happy and healthy now, so that's all that matters. Enjoy the show. Update. It's the next day from the massage. And Shani is in bed, or was in bed. I've just run her a bath. And if I can find some shoes, I just run her a bath, just warm. So she's going to lay on her belly in the warm bath, because I think, not 100%, but I think she might be having some contractions. It's interesting. I'm just moving my car, by the way, just getting everything just in case, that kind of stuff. But yesterday after the massage, how I was saying about, fingers crossed, it kind of engages and stuff like that. But on the way home, there was fires. They were burning the cane near us. And I just feel like, from an instinctive point of view, if a mother can smell fire and burning, surely that is what deterred the baby from coming, if that makes sense. But anyway, like I said, now I feel like possibly, and I'm getting a little bit excited, but I'm just staying as calm as I can and not kind of giving away too much with Shani. So I'm just, I ran a bath, poke her face as much as I could. And, I've told her I'll move the car and come out and make a video. She doesn't know I'm making a video, but I'm not sure if, some people might think, but she actually asked me if I was going to document the childbirth and stuff like that. And I wasn't going to. I thought, it's kind of but she asked me, so I think she would like to watch it back. And, those of you who have had children, like females, you would know a lot of it because you have that gland that sprays over your memory gland in your brain after enduring the pains of birth kind of thing. I'm getting into it like I'm a scientist now, but it sprays a chemical on your brain and it makes you forget. But I had that from when I had a bad crash, and I've said in earlier videos, I actually died and stuff, and my femur snapped and came out of my leg, but it sprayed the chemical on my memory gland and it made me forget it. So women have the same thing as well during childbirth, which is why she wants me to document and make a little bit of a video. We'll see how we go. There's a train going past now. But yeah, I'm rabbiting on at the minute, but I'm going to move the car. And then I'll try and video as much as I can, but I won't be talking. So I'll maybe just do a voiceover afterwards and stuff like that. That's the plan anyway. And then I won't be kind of the annoying guy in the background while my missus is trying to bring a new member of our family from the spirit realm. But yeah, poker face, keep the excitement at bay, don't make her anxious or nervous, just relax. Stay tuned. And yeah, got back from the car and she was in the bath, but the pain started really ramping up. I was pouring some warm water on her back, which she said was kind of helping. She then just went and reverse cowgirled the toilet for a comfort position, not to use the toilet, just for, she reckons that was a comfortable position. I told her then to just go into Adeline's room, because what better calming environment than our daughter's room kind of thing. Really relaxing on the brain to be in that kind of place, and it's good for the stress levels. I got her some pineapple juice then to soften her cervix, and there we are. Update, I've just come into the chicken shed. I have a bit of a vent. You'll hear the rooster kicking off, so apologies for that. But yeah, I've just called. I was messaging throughout the night to our midwife from the birthing centre, which is what we're going through. But obviously she must be on call. The messages are not going through, and it's all being forwarded on to the main hospital, which is, it is what it is. The reason we're going through the birthing centre, we feel like they're a bit more accommodating for our wants and needs and stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of you will agree. But yeah, I ended up calling the number because I realised it's probably not getting through the messages, and the main hospital answered. And yeah, just, I don't know what it is. Like, I know a lot of medical professionals and stuff, and I understand they have low empathy levels, and that's what makes them good at their job, because they can't really be attached to the patients and stuff. But you can still have a bit of a soul. I just felt like it was like dismissive and rude. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. She was being dismissive and rude, and I don't even know her name or nothing. Like, the things I was saying, I said, I've been messaging, and she's like, well, no, we don't get any of that. We're on a different, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm just explaining that I've messaged. And she's like, well, why didn't, and I said, well, like, the numbers I've rang is the same number I was messaging. I'm just letting you know that I have been, like, I'm not, you know what I mean? And she, oh, well, yeah, it gets forwarded. I said, well, again, I didn't know that. So, but, and just, yeah, I just tried to explain everything that was going on, and she literally hit me with, well, I don't know who you are and who is your wife. And I explained, and she's like, so what is going on? Tell me what's going on. I was like, well, she's pregnant and she's going into labour. And she's like, oh, right, okay. How far along is she? And it was just like, you know what I mean? And again, it's just like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of thing with hospital staff, getting abused and stuff like that, which I don't agree with. I don't condone. But there are certain individuals who work in the system who do not make it easy. They just don't. Like, I was actively trying to be the nicest, most polite, most whatever I could be to make it go smooth conversation. And she was just on Operation Difficult. Yeah, obviously I haven't told my wife any of this. But yeah, so the end result, I explained she's in labour, like, pretty much, but like early signs, whatever, like not very frequent episodes of pain and not too high of pain and whatnot. And she's like, yeah, all good. We'll see you in the morning to be induced. And I was like, well, is she gonna need to be induced if she's in labour now? Like, she's like, oh no, her body will know what to do. Tell her to just go to sleep. And I'm like, she's a first time. Okay, I was just like, I get off the phone because I'm like, it'll end up with me falling victim to her warpath and joining in. So I was like, okay, thank you. I'll let you know if it gets any, you know what I mean? And it's just like, this is all part of it though. Poker face back in the room with the missus and all smiles. Yeah, fast forward, I'd say about half an hour, and the pain went through the roof. As you can imagine, I start obviously having some concerns, and my missus kept asking me to, make sure the midwife is getting ready and getting the birthing centre ready. To obviously, I didn't want to tell her, they're not calling her. They refused to call her. I then said, do you want to go and sit back on the toilet the way you were? Because it was comfortable, which she agreed. And we got her up to sit on the toilet, and her waters broke on the way to the toilet. So Shani's waters have just broken. And I'm about to call that number again. So I'm going to video it because I want you to hear. So let's see where the sleep it off went.
Labor Jasmine speaking.
Hi there, I'm just calling back again. It's Curtis calling.
Who, sorry?
Curtis. I'm not sure if I was speaking with you or someone else, was it? About Shani?
Yes, you're talking to our midwife. What's going on?
So her waters have just broke.
Her waters have just broken. Yeah. Okay. What colour are they?
It's like a clear, but it's like spots of red in there.
Yeah, that's okay. Is there any funky smells or anything?
No, I wouldn't say so, no.
Perfect. Can you let Shani know to chuck a pad on? And then we can if you want, you can make your way in to see us, and we can definitely confirm that and make a plan from there.
Okay. Is Jacqueline is she on call, or is she able to be notified, or?
Let me double check because I'm actually unsure about that. I'll quickly ask if that's my other midwife, okay?
No worries. It's on mute now. But tell me that's not the system. I say she was 19, 20 years old. Why put someone on the answering of the phone when, I'm a pretty calm person, but my blood pressure is rising because I'm getting, I don't know. Come on.
We can double check, but given all the signs, it looks like her phone is diverted to us, and we were going to start Shani's induction tomorrow morning ourselves. We can't say for sure that Jacqueline is on, and if Shani's still in really early labour, it would be better for us to assess and make sure, because then we could send you guys home, and you could come back with, it's more intense and more active labour. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's no worries. Whereabouts would I be heading if we were to come in?
Have you ever been to our maternity assessment unit?
Oh, no. I think Shani has, though. I haven't, but I think Shani has.
Have you been to the birth centre room?
Yes.
You have. So, and have you previously come in the side door, the side access door, where you press the buzzer and someone buzzes you through?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you go to that door and you press the buzzer, it'll ring this phone here, and either myself or Mackenzie, who you spoke to earlier, will pick up and buzz you through. And from that door, if you go right and then take your first left, and then the first door on your left.
Okay, no worries.
All right?
Thank you.
Whereabouts do you live?
We're in Walkerston.
Okay, no worries. Well, we'll see you when you get here, okay?
No worries. Thank you.
Amazing. See you.
I'll let you decide. I'll let you decide from that. What's happened to the world? Okay. So everything's set. Shani's loaded in the car. I'm just grabbing some odd little ends that I know that she was wanting to take with us when the baby kind of comes. I've kind of dressed as nice as I can before I meet my new kid. Got to look presentable. Yeah. Yeah, so we're on the way to the hospital. Interesting to note, that last call as well. When and where did she ask me anything about Shani and her contractions or how frequent, how much pain? Nothing. There was no questions even asked. Like it just, and I'm like, well, you know what I mean? Even looking back now, I'm like, well, what reason would she not have, you know? But as far as my missus was concerned, we were going to see the midwife at the birthing centre. I just told her it was all happening as we planned because I didn't want to stress her out anymore. It's just how we had to go. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Buzz the buzzer.
Okay, let's walk.
So I did make a long video at this point, but I don't know where it's gone. It's deleted off my phone. But what happened was I pressed the buzzer. One of the girls came out, and again, she sounded young on the phone. She was young, early 20s. She just stood there in the doorway, watched me, you know, gradually get my missus to the door. Like she was getting big contractions. So she had to stop moving. We get a bit further, another contraction, a bit further. So obviously it was noticeable that, you know, she was having frequent contractions, which were very high intensity. We finally get to the doorway from the car where this young midwife is still standing, to which I looked at her and said, could we maybe get a wheelchair? And she's like, oh yeah, okay. So she disappeared. And then, yeah, cut to, yeah, we're standing there. Sorry, I'm on the massage chair. She's there, we're just waiting. We were just stood there waiting for the wheelchair to come back. And then, yeah, we go into the hospital, into the ward or wherever, to which that midwife pushing the chair said to the other young midwife, where are we going? And the other one said, I don't know. And then I said, well, can we find out? Because, you know? And then she said, well, we need to just confirm she's in labour first. That's what she said. And at this point, my missus was in pieces. And you can imagine, it's like you feel the frustration building, but you know that saner heads prevail. So I constantly just keep, you know, and all I kept saying was, can you call our midwife? Can you call our midwife? And I knew as soon as our midwife arrived, it would just bring it down a couple of notches because she's amazing and she's really calming. And, you know, she's from the birthing centre, which these two midwives were not, believe me. But they wouldn't call the midwife because they kept saying, we need to confirm she's in labour first. That's what they kept saying. And I'm like, well, you know, as trying to stay as calm as I could, I kept saying, well, can we get a move on, find a room, check if she's in labour, check if she's dilated, because I already know in my mind she was 4 centimetres dilated 2 days prior, or 1 day prior even. Anyway, fast forward to them doing their check, to which she stood up and went, oh, Jesus, she's fully dilated. And I said, can we call our midwife now? To which they did, and again, our amazing midwife turned up within 5 minutes. Honestly, it was like 5 minutes. She only lives near, but she must have hit the ground running out of the bed. But yeah, and we'll pick up from there. And yeah, our midwife in shining armour turned up. She kicked everyone out of the room. I had gone in and started filling the bath up from the first moment we got there. I asked them to, and but anyway, I got that sorted. And there it is. Shani has done amazing work. And we're there. So I'm just on the way to the car to go and get some clothes for the baby and a nappy and stuff, because as you can imagine, I didn't have a chance to. But yeah, it was a relatively smooth birth. She did amazingly, obviously. She had everything right, and we were in the water and what and whatever. They were monitoring the baby's heart though, because she was 42-week stage. And with that, the heart rate, they said, was getting a bit low. Cue the doctors. They all come steaming in. It was like 4 of them. Just loud. Lights came on. It was an actual nightmare scenario. Pulled her out of the water. And I was there, like, I don't know, I was on defense mode, obviously, but I'm in her ear, keeping her calm, and they're saying stuff like, if you can't get it out this next push, we're going to cut you open, and that's what they're saying. And I was just in her ear, ignore that. You can do it. They're trying to get her to the bed. I was like, letting her stall and try and give birth where she was, kind of thing. Didn't quite get there. So it did end up with the old laying on your back, legs in the air in the stirrups, which obviously is not the way to have a bit. I don't care what you say, and I'll give you a bit of an education now. Henry VIII is the one who came up with that method, because he wanted to see what gender the baby was first. So he started making the doctors put the women on their back with their legs in the air. So tell me where your medical science gets that from. Yeah, I cut that video a bit short because I was on a real rant. But here's my boy anyway. Loving life. Mrs. just getting a bit of rest time, and I was getting my cuddles. We set off. It was only 4 hours later. Paperwork was done, kind of thing. Mrs. was, happy and healthy, and we were allowed to leave, and we were on our way, loving life. Wow. So I've just come out here to unravel a bit of that. So I've just been closing up the house. Everything's completely dark. I've left Shani and Wilder to have a little nap while I just get some other stuff going on. But yeah, it was amazing. Like, obviously, we had a few things that we didn't really like, and there was a few parts of it that were, I don't want to say unnecessary, because we didn't let them happen, but you could see how fast it can go wrong, because they just push their way on stuff that is not needed. And it's just sad, because they're not doing it maliciously, obviously, but it's just the way they're trained. They're medically trained. Like, Baba's, they had the CTG on Shani during the birth in the water, and the heart rate dropped a little bit low for obviously their liking, but without any warning, because those heart rate monitors are visible on the outside of the room. The door bust open, 4 doctors come barging in, the light got flicked on straight away, and then it was pandemonium. One of them dropped a tray, which was the loudest thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life at that point. And it was just absolute chaos. And before you know it, Shani was pulled out of the water, she was dragged into the bed, and put on her back with her legs in the stirrups. And immediately the female doctor said, "I'm going to cut you." To which I replied, "No." I'm backing her to do it herself. And she said, okay, if you don't get it out in this push, I'm going to cut you. We pushed and the head came out. And then we just kind of kept saying no. And she kept asking, can I cut you? Can I cut you? And the reason being, move boy, the reason being they wanted to cut horizontally to avoid a vertical split happening between the bottom part. And again, we just said one more push. And even our midwife, who was amazing, she kind of whispered, come on, you can do it, same as me kind of thing. And we got the baby out. Obviously the midwife helped and pulled a little bit, but we managed to get it done without the use of the knife and whatnot. And, you know, even afterwards, Shani said the difference it made trying to push laying on my back with my legs in the air compared to squatting down. It's like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I can tell you now, if I'm trying to get something down and out, squatting, you know, if I ask you to, you know, go to the toilet now, and I said you have to squat or lay on your back, which one would you choose? You know, and, you know, like I said, Henry VIII is the one who come up with that whole thing because he wanted to see the baby first. That's why it's the thing. But like I said, the doctors are not malicious. They're doing what they're doing while they're training. And I don't know. I've witnessed, you know, Adeline born completely naturally in the water with no interventions, no interruptions. There was no rush. It took its time, and it just happened. But then, you know, Shani there, with the new Baba Wilder, it was all going like it needs to happen now. And I almost got the vibe that they didn't want to get wet, and they just pulled her out of the water. And it was a convenience thing. It was, there's nothing will change my mind. It was a convenience thing. And the reason I'm, you know, even going on about it like this is because I'm trying to give people and mums especially, obviously, just a bit of a reassurance if you think, oh, it's going wrong. And it's more about, you know, from what I've witnessed myself now, it's what they think is convenient, you know, because they were trying to induce her a while back and we said no, and then it was today they were going to induce her, but the baby came naturally anyway. So I don't know, the baby comes when the baby comes. If there's no medical emergency and there's no pressing issues, give the baby its time and let it come naturally, and your body will start doing everything naturally anyway, you know. That's what I got from that anyway. But other than that, amazing. Like I said, Shani was like, honestly, like a superhero, and it was, you could see, you know, things were starting to ring alarm bells. You know, like we're in a completely dark room in water, peaceful, calm, just focusing on breathing, and then the door comes flying open. 4 people come barging in. I'm not talking slowly coming, they came barging in, just absolutely blurting medical terminologies, which is all Latin, so none of us understand. The lights came on and it was just pandemonium. Like I said, it was absolute pandemonium. And yeah, it just, I don't know, you kind of lose faith in the medical system when those kind of things happen. But thankfully, our midwife restored the faith immediately, and she was kind of, I won't say counteract, because she was doing her job and she was following protocol, so I'm not going to put her under the bus and say that, but I was fighting against what they were trying to do, and I'm glad I did, because the baby came naturally anyway. So yeah, as you can tell, I've got a bit of emotion invested in this, but it's done now. But like I said, I'm trying to push it out there for other mums. Just hold strong, hold the faith, trust your body, trust yourself. The chickens are kicking off. But yeah, thank you for following the journey. That's that. Now my job is to be a dad of a boy, and turn him from a boy into a man. and he's got to be introduced to Roman and the chickens and everything going on out here now. So yeah, I can't wait for this next part of the journey. Things are going to get a lot more interesting. Take it easy.